Hey, Truth Seekers, 182nd post here. We are going to talk about Mark Duggan. He was a young black male, 29 years old, who was shot to death by the police on August 4th of 2011. And going back and looking at this, it looks very much like what has occurred with Michael Brown. However, it happened on a quicker scale in the UK. So I want to go through this story, share it with you. In your mind, I want you to parallel it with Michael Brown, of course, plus just a lot of the other hoaxes we've seen over the years. Now that we realize they're hoaxes, now that we see what they've been doing to us all this time. All right, so Mark Duggan, young black male, 29 years old, shot to death by the police. His initials right away are curious to me. MD, a lot like medical doctor, but in this Pythagorean gematria, M is the 13th letter, so 1 plus 3 becomes 4. D is the 4th letter, remains 4. MD is a lot like 4, 4. The word kill in simple English gematria sums to 44. And I also always notice how it has that 11-9 sequence in the beginning of it. What does 11 and 9 make you think of, True Seeker? So the name Mark, because it has a K, it has two numerical values with this Pythagorean method. It has 16 and 25. If you use 16 and add it to the last name Duggan, which sums to 27, think about Duggan and death, especially for rock stars, this number 27. Bad vibration number, 3 times 9. What are 3 nines upside down, Truth Seeker? Anyhow, Mark Duggan, 16 plus 27, 43. This stood out to me right away because I know that the name Mark with simple English gematria also sums to 43. In this event, I didn't write it up here, but you can look it up. The stats are that by the end of all the rioting and everything, there were 3,443 arrests. 3,443. 3,443. Think about that with this number right here. That was the official reported number of arrests from all the rioting. So, Mark Duggan, 43. If we use the K exception, that sums to 52. That's interesting because the word heart sums to 52. And in this story, the majority of the rioting happened in Tottenham Hale. He was shot in Tottenham, that's North London, and also in Wood Green. But if you read the official story, there was a lot of rioting all throughout the UK. This is just where the majority of it was. But if you look at the list of all the places that were in the rioting, supposedly, it's quite the list. And real quick, let's emphasize this date that he was shot on. He was shot August 4th, 8-4. This was Barack Hussein Obama's 50th birthday this day. He turned 50 on the day this happened. In Pythagorean gematria, United States of America sums to 84, a lot like the date 8-4. Think of George Orwell's 1984. Curious date. And also relating this to Michael Brown, he was shot on August 9th, 5 days later, 8-9, same month, August. So as a result of this story, 2 days later, rioting began, August 6th, 8-6. The word republic sums to 86 in gematria. It was August 6th, 1945 that Hiroshima was bombed. 8-6. A date of tragedy in history. And then it went through 8-11. These are James Madison's favorite numbers, 8 and 11. This year, Robin Williams supposedly committed suicide on 8-11. My point is that these dates are all very significant to the gang of people that I'm trying to expose and something that they go by all throughout history. And here they are in this Mark Duggan story. So again, we went over the 52 connections to the name Mark Duggan. After the rioting, after all the arrests, there was a public inquest similar to a grand jury. It went from September 16th to January 8th of this year, 2014. That is a span of 114 days. You can double check this on a date calculator. I have it on my written blog. I took a screenshot from the date calculator. You can quickly see that this is true. It was an 8-2 decision. 8-2 reminds me of the word or the number 82 in gematria. The word Armageddon sums to 82. Also, let's look at this. 44 from his initials, the word kills 44, and 114. More recently, since this event happened, we've had the Sandy Hook school shooting. That was December 14th, 2012. Another major shooting incident in the media. Look this up. After the shooting, they released a 44-page police report on the shooting. And it got much criticism from pretty much everywhere. They said it really doesn't say anything. 44 pages of nothing. But it is 44 pages. Verify this, Truth Seeker. And then just recently, they released a report on Adam Lanza. This was maybe no more than 2 months ago. I think more recent than that. But they released a 114-page report on Adam Lanza. 44 and 114. These numbers are very much associated with assassination. The word Holocaust with simple English gematria, Truth Seeker, sums to 114. In history, JFK was shot from 411 Elm Street. The flip of this number, 411. In Jewish gematria, the word assassin sums to 411. So this 114-day deliberation, this is much like what happened with Michael Brown. His went from August 20th to November 24th. That's a span of 96 days. The word Freemason sums to 96. The word Satanism sums to 96. If you sum the ranging degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, 31 through 33, that means 31 plus 32 plus 33, it sums to 96, just like the word Freemason. And as I continue to assert, I am saying the Freemasons are organizing and plotting these hoaxes, and that's why they continue to use these numbers in this numeric code, because it is very significant to them, their beliefs and their principles, essentially. The Masons believe in order through chaos. So think about what they do after they get these riots. Then they pass new laws. Then they pass more spending for their police department. Then they militarize their police department. You see, True Seeker, we're just going through phases. They have a plan, and they need these events to get us there. They need the 9/11s. They need the 7/7 London bombings. They need the 3/11 Madrid train bombings. They need the Mark Duggans. They need the Mike Browns. They need the Trayvon Martins. They need the George Zimmermans. They need all these cast of characters in these stories to keep us on the path they have us on. And also, I want to share a story with you guys from my own personal life. So here in Seattle, May 1st, 2012, we had the May Day protests. Every year there's May Day protests. But for 2012, there was more hype for it, and Seattle was trying to get a big turnout. And at the time, I took the day off from work, and I got my girlfriend to take the day off from work, and I said, let's just go out for it. I mean, let's see if people really come out today. Well, as it happened, not that many people turned out, which should be no surprise for a protest in the United States, right? Normally, people do not come out for protests. But what I got to see that day was very fascinating, and I'm grateful for this experience, and I want to share it with you right now because I'm seeing it happen all over the national news right now. So on that day, May 1st, 2012, there was going to be a march, and my girlfriend and I, we participated in it. A lot of the people there participated in it. It went through the city streets, and it did obstruct traffic a little bit, but it wasn't during a time of day when traffic wasn't that busy. And what happened maybe 2 blocks into the march, so this march was a big square essentially through the city back to where we were starting at, the starting point. There were, tents set up and festivities and speakers and a concert stage. There was musicians. So anyway, we start the march, and we're about 2 blocks into it. And what happens at the second block is this swarm of men come in. They're all in black. They have hoods on. And I swear they move like a school of fish. They just moved right into the center of the march, and then they just stuck right there. As we went down the street, we came up on a Bank of America. And as we came up on the Bank of America, 2 men from this group of, I want to say, there's probably about 8 to 10 guys there, all in black. Two of them went out and they had bricks and they just threw them right through the Bank of America window, and then they moved right back into the center of the pack, and we marched on. And while this is happening, it should be noted there's bicycle police, there's police on horse, and they're just staying kind of behind and to the sides of the march. So as we move on, we cross another bank. I think it was Home Street Bank. I forget which one we came up on next. But another little pack of men from the thing went out, threw bricks, smashed the window, and then right back into the middle. And while this is going on, the police aren't doing anything. They're not budging from their positions. They're just staying with the march, staying behind it. And I'm getting curious at this point, like, are they going to let this go on? Are they going to break this up? We didn't realize it was going to be anything like this. It was just supposed to be a nice little peaceful march right back to the starting point. So anyway, each bank we pass, each thing that has to do with lending, same thing. Guys go out and smash the windows. As we were coming across the courthouse building, Seattle has its own sort of hero vigilante. He dresses up in costumes, and he's kind of like our local, I don't know what you want to call it, Spider-Man, Batman. Not quite. But anyway, this man was standing in front of the courthouse as the march came around. And we're getting near the end of the march right now. As we come by, I kid you not, this guy has some sort of like smoke grenades, but also that let out some sort of gas that made us choke. This guy threw them at the march. He's supposed to be Seattle's vigilante. In my mind now, I think this guy is definitely police, no matter what anybody else thinks, because who has this kind of stuff? So anyway, he hit us with this, and it kind of broke up the march more, because now we're breathing in this gas. But we were almost to Nike Town, and that's where this all came to a climax. Once we got to the Nike Town, all the people in the black just ran up to the Nike Town, and they pulled out these things that almost looked like police batons. They all had them. They came out, and then they started hitting the Nike Town glass. If you're not familiar with Nike Town, it's Nike's shoe store that they have in a lot of urban cities. Most major U.S. cities have Nike Towns. So anyway, they all started smashing this Nike Town, and I was really close to this when this was happening. Nike Town had like a bulletproof type of glass or something, so it was flexing and not breaking, but then eventually it did break. And at this point, the police just came in, the same type of gas the guy had at the courthouse. What they had at the courthouse, the police had also. And also just loud bangs. So anyway, the whole march was just dispersed and all over. But they did this right as we were almost to the end of it. They let us make almost a full circle before they did this. So anyway, everybody started running everywhere. My girlfriend tried to run, but I said, no, don't run. Then we'll look like we're part of the... So we just walked calmly out of there, and nothing crazy happened. But what was real interesting for me to see is about a half hour later, my eyes were in front of a television, and I saw how this was being covered on TV at the time. And right there it just dawned on me. I said, they just allowed all this to happen so they could make this made-for-TV spectacle. And I'm quite certain to this day that those men who got into the center that moved like a school of fish, that were in all in black with all the stuff they had, the bricks, the clubs, I'm pretty sure they were the police. And I'm pretty sure what we, the people who were peaceful in the march, I'm pretty sure we were just used essentially as cattle for this setup event. And now what I see going on with all these marches throughout the country and all the TV coverage, I just think it's that same thing evolved. So I want to share that with you, truth seekers, and just let you in on what's up. I mean, our government right now is trying to provoke protests, which is unprecedented. And they're also trying to encourage violence and racial hate. And we got to wake up to it. We got to wake up and expose what they're doing, because people my age, people younger than me, people older than me that are out there participating in these protests right now, their heart might be in the right place, but they need to see how they're being used and abused by this system. That's my message to them. I don't want to say that anybody's wrong in this. I just want everyone to see what's really going on and what they're truly trying to do to us. All right, until next time, truth seekers. Thanks as always.